Yeah. Since 2019, we've been building mindset and purpose for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, people becoming more than they were yesterday.
Monday through Friday we rise. We win the morning, we win the mind. Faith over fear, pressure into purpose. Confidence built through the work. Something good is gonna happen to me. Something good is gonna happen to me. I don't need all the answers, I just need belief. Becoming who I'm called to be. Making impact bigger than me. God first, doubt steps back. When it gets heavy, we figure it out. You're not here by accident, you're part of the story. Stepping strong, stepping faith. Let's get your mindset right.
'Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Happy Friday to you all. Say happy Friday in the chat. Say happy Friday in the chat because chat gets excited. Chat gets very excited when you do the happy Friday in the chat. He gets all fired up on this Friday. It is kind of like the start of the summer season that we have. We just finished school yesterday, and I was talking to Tim this morning. He's dropping off his daughter for her last day of school. So we got a lot of summertime getting ready to start and get ourselves together. So it is the start of the summer season. So wishing you all a happy summer as you start your wherever you're going on vacation, your seasons of life, whatever that might lead you to. Be safe, be out there. So, but good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. My name is Coach Rock Zban, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. And my little ones just were shipped off to the dentist. So I got about an hour of a little bit of a breathing room before they come on back. But I'm excited today. We have a special guest that we have for us this morning, and I want to give you guys a little bit of an insight before we bring him onto the stage here. So I met Tim a while ago, and I didn't really know him to the point until I heard his story. And I wanted to share with you that you all know my one of the lines that I like to say is poor is a mindset, broke is a season. And just recently, he celebrated his 16-year anniversary with his wife, and he's a big Disney guy, and he was down in Disney World, and he was sharing his story of basically how broke he was, how much they just got out of college, they were just trying to figure out their life. And then I got to hear him speak on stage while I was down at Rise in Florida with our company Real. And I literally was getting goosebumps. I know exactly where I was sitting, Tim. I was on the left-hand side. I could see you to the right, but I was really like watching the screen in front of me because I don't know, it was like I wanted just to see your face and how you were like sharing this story because when you share stories of emotion and you're going through certain things, it's hard to speak in front of people and kind of keep yourself together. And I was getting goosebumps when I was listening to him share, and I was like, I need him on the. I love to have him on our show this morning because he can make an impact for those that watch the recording, those that are here this morning, for those that watch it later at some point and rewatch it. That this gentleman that's on here today has escalated himself from the broke season he was in to being the number one influencing person in our company with over 10,000 people on his team. That doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen. You just wake up and be like, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I got a family. He's got a, he's got, when he told me, he was like, I got to take my daughter to school today. I was like, as a family man, taking care of your daughter, taking care of your wife, and still showing up for all the different things that he shows up. I got this quote from John Maxwell, and then I'll give him the stage. But John Maxwell says, leadership is influence, nothing more or nothing less. If you have no followers, then you're just going for a walk. And so when I got to know Tim more and hear his story more, I'm just very grateful and thankful that he's able to share with us this morning. And so, guys, if you can all do me a favor like we like to do on here, drop some fives in the chat, put some hearts for those that know how to do those emojis, and let's welcome Mr. Tim Macy. Good morning, brother.
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be on this Friday morning. I was talking to Brock this morning, just back from the gym and then bust up. Like you guys got me at peak energy. Most of the rest of the Zooms I'm on later in the day. The energy slowly trickles off. So you guys got me primed up for sure.
Oh man, thank you for being on here. And I always love our the mornings, get everybody going before we get ourselves fired up and get ourselves ready to take on the day, especially on a Friday, especially on a Friday. So Tim, give us a kind of a 10,000 foot overview of who you are. Kind of give us a little bit of a, for those that don't know you, kind
Yeah.
of just share with us a little spotlight.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I go speak at stuff now, which is weird. I think a lot of people, sometimes I bump into them. They're like, "Hey, man, I want to be a speaker. How do I do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You should ask somebody else because I don't know how I became a speaker. I just just kind of happened." But they always ask me for a bio, which is like the most awkward thing you could possibly do, which is tell everybody why you're great. Like that just it just makes my skin crawl. Uh, but my short story is in 2015, I got my real estate license. My wife was pregnant, and I was taking my real estate classes. I was mowing lawns and driving Uber. I had just gotten out of the Air Force. We were in San Antonio, which is not where we're from, so a new city, didn't know anybody, and had no idea what I was doing with my life, and got my real estate license. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but that's how I got into the business, and then figured it out. Um, and obviously everybody has their own way of figuring it out, but kind of figured out how to sell some houses, do some investment stuff, and everything else. And then in 2020, October 2020, I joined Real, built this, helped build this great company. And now I do have 11,000 something agents in my organization. And so now I get to wake up every day and figure out how to help our agents at Real, like how to make their lives better and support their business. So I went from mowing lawns, driving Uber to like finding and cleaning out hoarder houses to selling hoarder houses to selling nicer houses to now, you know, doing what we do today. So it's been a fun journey for sure.
Yeah, man, I love it. And we all have a story, right? We all have our path that we take, and the Figured Out show was based off of people like you having to build up these figured outs. It's a compound effects of figuring out what sometimes it's figuring out each hour, figuring out a day, figuring out a year. And so you as you shared your kind of the 10,000 foot, I want to peel the onion back and dive
Yeah.
into some of those like specific, like some of those, oh shit, I don't even know how the hell we're gonna get out of this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we have this, not we have a saying, but in the Bible, God makes the impossible possible. And there's many times where like, I have no idea how this could possibly even come to fruition.
Yeah.
So share with us one of those moments, whether that you have deep down, maybe it's a new one I haven't heard, but share with
Well,
us something that you got.
yeah, I mean, it makes me think about two different things. One is being delusional. Like if you talked to me back then, you would have said this guy's crazy. Uh, I was mowing lawns as part of a lawn crew in San Antonio, which is not a nice place to mow lawns. It is hot and it is nasty. And we worked for this property maintenance company that was employed by property management companies. And like, I was so delusional. I just liked being close to apartments. Like, I was mowing the lawn at apartment complexes, looking up at them, visualizing myself one day owning those apartment complexes. And then we would be on our lunch break, right? And I would be talking to the guys about like, or I'd be talking to like the property management guy would come check on us, and I'm like, "What's your vacancy rate like over here?" I'm like, "I wonder what the cap rate is on this thing if they sold it. I wonder what the guy bought it for. I wonder what da 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 da." And the guys I'm eating lunch with are looking at me like, "What is wrong with this guy?" Like, we're just here mowing lawns. Like, why is he, talking the way he's talking about, acting like he's going to own one of these things one day? And now I could say that we've invested in about 7 different apartment complexes similar to the ones that I was mowing lawns at. And so I think there's this idea of being delusional about what you can do. And there's this idea that I love, which is we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in 5. And so
Say
back
that again,
then,
because that is if you're taking notes off,
yeah,
because one of the things you just said, Tim, and I already see. I always tell them I'm going to probably rudely interrupt because I just think it's so important. Because sometimes we're like listening, we're driving, but
yeah,
we're not really. We're kind of paying attention, but not paying attention. All like there's two things he just said. And why I love Tim is because he's cut from the same cloth of delusional, like crazy shit and goes in your head like, you know what, I think I'm going to do that. And everybody around you, if you haven't read the book Think Big, it's not the name of the
Think and
book.
Grow Rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just like you have to have crazy thoughts. You have to have these weird things inside of your
Hmm.
head. And if it's not big enough, like people around you aren't gonna be like, well, what's I mean, okay, that's not, but they're like, wait a minute. And when
Yeah.
you said that, it's like, damn, what do my dreams look like? Who am I saying it to? Because you also want to share it with people. So I just think that was that, and then that line that you just said. Could you repeat it again? The one that you just
Oh, so you overestimate what you can
yeah.
do in a year. I mean, heck, you overestimate what you can do this week, but we
Hmm.
underestimate what we can do in 5. And I've seen this play out in my life. I've seen this play out in other people's lives. And so I'll give you 2 great examples. My favorite one is my personal one, which is we were business planning in 2016 or for 2016 because I started listening to a Tom Ferry podcast. He told me I should business plan. And like, I didn't have a business to plan. Like, anybody ever sit down and do a business plan? You're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Where the heck
Drop
do
a
I start?
five if you got that.
Right?
Drop a five that you don't even know. You don't even
Yeah.
have a plan to create a business plan.
And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna make 10 calls a day, whatever it is. But what I did was I had this vision in my head that I was gonna make 20K a month by 2020 in cash flow. And I considered cash flow, I defined it as 20K a month that would come in with less than 8 hours of work a week. Because in my head, I knew I wanted financial stability and I wanted to spend a lot of time with my family and be able to do fun stuff. Right. So that was the reason for the vision. That's how I define the vision. You have to understand in the year 2015, I made $18,000 as a whole. Like, I've got my tax returns. We $18,000 what we made. So to make 20K a month in cash flow was completely delusional, right? Like, that made no sense. And so, we missed a bunch of our 1 year goals. I failed all the time. But in 2020, which was the year that I joined Real, when I looked at rev share and like we had an Airbnb and some other stuff, we were at about 17,800 a month averaged over the last 6 months of 2020. So we missed our goal. But how crazy is it that I started making what I was making a year, a month in cash flow in 5 years? Like, you can change your life in 5 years, but a lot of times we just get burdened by the day to day. The other quick story, Brock, is it's funny because I love this quote. I live by this thing. I say it so much. And I was talking to Tamir, and with the Remax acquisition and all that other fun stuff. And
Right.
he said, I actually sent a text to one of my partners, good friends, board members, that I wanted to acquire Remax. And I sent it back in 2021. And in
Wow.
2021, Real had 1,600 agents And I think Remax had 180,000 agents. So 100 times more agents than Real. Real, we were just churning. Like we were nothing back then, right? We were just trying to get our feet. And Tamir had this vision that one day he was going to acquire Remax. Now, if he said he was going to do it in a year, it'd be crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's set up for failure. But he did it in 5. And so there's just so much you can do in 5 years. It's unbelievable. And the reason I think we miss out on the 5 year is because we don't let compound interest take its effect. Like we
Mhm.
all know, right? Like if you save $1 a day since you're 2 years old, you'll be a bajillionaire, right? Because compound interest is one of the most powerful things we have in investing, but it's also one of the most powerful things we have in life. So again, I get it wrong far more than I get it right. But I have woken up at 5 a.m. pretty much every morning for the last 16, 7, actually, maybe the last 20 years, because I was in the Air Force, before that. And I can tell you the compound interest of having great mornings and I can't put a number on it. Like the compound interest of keeping this delusional mindset for this long, I can't put a number on it. But what happens is when we get so caught up on our 1 year goal, when we get so caught up on the thing that we want to do this week, and we let that knock us off the track of the good habits and the good things we could be doing, we lose the compound effect of that. And so you can really see this play out in a 5 year cycle that you just don't see in a year. And I think the other part is we don't look back enough. Like we get so caught up in where we are today and what we want today and everything else. Like we don't give ourselves enough credit for like how far we've come. And I don't like you could have just gotten the business
Amen.
yesterday. And I'm not talking about, whether you sell more houses than you did 5 years ago, whatever. But like if you're on this call, you are probably someone that is looking for personal growth, personal improvement, and everything else. And if you've been at it for 5 years, you're probably a different person than you were 5 years ago. My favorite thing is like I was at Disney World, and somebody was like, "Hey, how old's your daughter?" And I was like, "Oh, she's 7." Right, this is a couple of years ago, she's 7, and they're like, "Oh my God, 7 is just it's the best. Like seven's great because
Price is 7, and I agree with you. It is
right."
like the greatest. I'm loving this. Braille's 13, and God help me, but
But
Bryce
here's the
at
deal,
7, I love it.
yeah, and so it's like, look, the next year she's 8, she could be different. She's a different
Mhm.
person, right? Like your 7-year old is just a different person than your 8-year old. And the question is like, when did that stop for you?
Mm.
When did you stop being a new person every single year? And when you look at that, you can see just how much you can do, right? And how much change and how much you can do over 5 years. But we get settled in. Like we get settled in to our habits and what we do. And some of that's great. Like I
Comfort.
love settling in to certain parts of my life. But some of the stuff that I've settled into in my life doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me. And so I think that this idea of setting the 5 year vision, and Brock, this will kind of segue into where we want to go, is great because it drives that change. And I think one of the pieces too that I've dealt with because we went from 0 to 20K a month in 5 years. And I thought, it's funny. It's like when I look back at the kid who just got out of the Air Force with a infant, right? Man, I figured if I had 20K a month coming in, I wouldn't have any problems, right? Like life would be problemless. Like like what could possibly be wrong in my life if I had 20K a month coming in? And then you get there and you're like, oh, wait a second. Life is still life. And I still have real problems. And it didn't solve the thing that I thought it was going to. And then, you know, the next 5 years we 10x again. And now, that number's far larger and everything. And it's like I'm realizing getting everything you ever wanted is a quick way to find out how little it really is.
Mm.
And I say that like, don't get me wrong. Like I used to wash cars at a Mercedes dealership. It was my first job. And I went back to that dealership and bought one. It felt good. Like it's cool. And I still love it. Like, and I will say every time I get in that car, I think back to when I was 19 washing them. Like it's a thing, but it's not what you think it's going to be. And so one
Mm.
of, one of the other big pieces is I had this picture of I think my daughter was like 2, and it was like our Christmas card, and I could just see that guy, 9 years ago in that picture who wanted everything. Like I wanted the apartment complexes. I was listening to the podcasts. I was so motivated. I was gonna go take over the world. And the part that I didn't love is I could see in that guy what he didn't realize he already had.
Mm.
Like I
Mm.
had everything in that moment, and for some reason I felt like I was missing something. And so two things can be true at the same time. Like you can be delusional about all the things that you want and go to accomplish big things and go leave your dent in the universe, right? But I also think though, if you're not coming from a place of really being grateful for where you're at, you can end up
Mm.
just being like we all know people that are rich and miserable, right?
Mm.
There are
Money
there are
doesn't buy
Olympians
happiness.
with gold medals on the wall that are depressed because they thought that the success was going to give them something that it didn't. And so one of the biggest things I've learned is like the 5 year vision, all the stuff you want to do, everything else. Um, you have to focus on who you're becoming along the way and not what you're
Mm.
accomplishing, because the accomplishments are goalposts. They're great. It's great to be the number one agent in your town. It's great to have whatever, like awesome. But it's empty if you don't love the person you look at in the mirror. And it's
Amen.
more about who you're becoming along the way. And the goals should be driving you to becoming whatever that better version of yourself. Because I'm 39, and that's an interesting year in life, right? Because you're coming up on 40, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be in the best shape. I'm gonna be whatever. Like I gotta be something different, on my 40th birthday than I was on my 39th. But that should be every year, right?
Yeah.
And so be delusional about what you can accomplish. Have a big 5 year vision. Figure out what your big 5 year vision is for you, and what does that 5 year vision do for the people around you, the people that you love. Like what's it do for them? Because I don't know about you, but I am great at letting myself down. Like I will lie
Mm.
to myself all the time, but when I bring the people that I love into the equation, I'm not as good letting them down, and so that'll drive me. So, what's that 5 year vision do for the people that you love, the people that are close to you? But most importantly, who are you going to become when you get there?
Jim Rohn has a saying. I got all my notes here that
Yeah,
I've been taking here because I don't want to forget things that you said, but I didn't want to interrupt you because I was like feeling your conversation. But Jim Rohn says, the person that makes the $1 million, it's not the achievement of the $1 million. It's the person you become throughout the process of making that $1 million. Kobe Bryant used to say all the time that it's not the accomplishment of the ring, it's the person I became to get to the ring, to get to the trophy, to get to that
yep.
success, to get to where you were at Disney World, to where you were washing that car. I was getting a little emotional just listening to your story because I wrote down this: will your future self thank you today? And there's many times when I was 38, 39 when I realized my addiction was overpowering my life. And I was just
Yep.
like, I'm not going to see 40 if I keep up doing what I'm doing. Like something has to change. And we hear this saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. My dad used to tell me, shit or get off the pop rock, which one you're gonna do.
Mm,
And you have to grow into, and I've said on here, I remember, my mom used to say this where, I'm going to buy you a t-shirt when you're 7 years old, but I'm going to buy it 2 sizes big so you can grow into it. And that's what that 5-year vision, that 5-year goal is
Yeah.
create that size, create that vision so you get to grow into it, to become the person that you are. Because you can't wear your 7-year-old t-shirt anymore on. If you do, you're gonna look kind of silly. But that is just really on the things that you were sharing that resonated with me. And I know we have to pivot as I was
Well,
like
let me
thinking.
let me hit.
Yeah, go
I want
ahead.
to hit on something before we jump because
Yeah,
as
man.
I ramble a little bit. I don't know if that's cool
No,
with
I
you
love
guys.
it.
I ramble sometimes. Um,
Trust me, they get used to it with
okay.
me.
All right. Cool. Well, I rambled over delusion, and I missed an important piece. Being delusional. Being delusional is very important. But like I said, I'd eat lunch with these guys and they'd look at me like I was crazy, which is good. I was running and I was FaceTiming one of my partners in San Antonio. I live in Connecticut now. We moved up here and it's snow and I'm in a tank top and he's like, "Dude, it's snowing. You're in a tank top. People are going to think you're crazy." And I said, "Logan, I am crazy. Like what what is the problem?" Right? Like I'm totally delusional, I'm totally crazy. I don't think like other people, other things. And so that's okay. And I think what happens though is like be delusional, be all the stuff. Um, but when you have people that are closest to you and they think you're crazy, sometimes you're going to bring your delusion down a little bit for the people around you.
Mm,
And so there's nothing wrong. Like I have a ton of people I'm friends with, a lot, but you have to be like mindful of the people who you exchange energy with,
mm.
right? And so I've got people in my life that aren't delusional crazy. I love them. Like there's not this thing of like, oh, you don't want to go take over the world. I'm not going to talk to you. Look, not everybody should try to take
Right?
over the world. Like this life is not for everybody. On the same hand, I have to be mindful of like, wait a second, am I pulling energy from the guy sitting next to me at lunch that just wants to go drink after work and whatever? I got to be mindful of that. The other thing is when you're delusional and you're thinking about all this stuff, it's your reticulating activating system, your RAS.
Mm.
So, when you buy a white BMW, what happens? All of a
You see a
sudden,
lot of, yep.
all you start seeing are white BMWs. You're like, wait a second, did everybody else buy a white BMW because now I drive one? As soon as you get that car, you start seeing everybody else that has that car. And no, like it's just that since you're in that car, you start seeing it everywhere you go. And it's the same thing about being delusional. When you're delusional and you're thinking about your 5-year vision and you've got that on your mind and all that other when you're really in it, you start seeing the opportunities and you start seeing the world in the way that's going to get you there that the people who aren't delusional don't see because they didn't just buy a white BMW, so they don't see the white BMWs, right?
Mm.
And so knowing that your delusion will also open up the opportunities um, is important. And I don't want to miss that on being delusional. So healthy disconnect from people who aren't delusional is important. And again, I say this because it's like, hey, you got to like have 5 friends that also want to take over the world and forget everybody else. Like, don't forget everybody else. I will, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that, but you do have to have people in your life that are also that. And for me, I didn't have that. It was just me in San Antonio by myself. So what that was for me was all the podcasts I listened to, the books I read. Like I
Mm.
was just taking in all of that. And then slowly RAS kicks in and all of a sudden I meet my buddy Logan Fulmer who we were both in like 900 square foot apartments and whatnot when we met. And now we just closed a $15 million development deal together outside Austin. Like, but he was also delusional. World brought us together because of that. So like, if you don't have those people in your life, take in all the information, surround yourself with the right content. And I think those people show up in your life. But most of all, see, I'm rambling. The gap and the gain, like
Great book.
like having the gratitude for where you're at is actually one of the most important things to get where you want to go. Because we've all met people that are like chasing that future they want because they think it's going to bring them something it's not going to bring. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be chasing it because when you get there, I promise it's not going to feel great. And
Mm.
so be grateful for where you're at, be delusional. That way, when you get there, you can be proud of that person that you've become to get there.
Damn. Drop a 5 in the chat. If you got something out of today, drop a 5 in the chat. Drop a heart in those emojis over there. A really good book is The Secret, and
Yeah.
it talks about putting it out there in the universe. Like, I mean, I can go on and on. Like Bishop Jakes, TJ Jakes talks about your environment, the people that you need to be around. Les Brown talks about, picking and choosing. Like you have a different person. Like you're not going to have a business coach also be your spiritual coach, and your spiritual coach is not going to be your weight training coach. Like you have to have different people in your life for different reasons. We say many times that God puts every single one of us on this show in your life for a reason. And some of it is just to keep you humble. Some of it's to keep you growing. Some of it is just to, whatever it might be. But your environment, and that's what this family and this group and everybody on here is just, it's like, and I tell you, that's why I share all the time. Put your phone numbers in the chat. Put your phone numbers out there because there's somebody on here today that can either help you or you can help them in whatever capacity it might be. And and I knew we're a little bit over time, but Tim, I want to hear your one thing because it's always my famous question that I ask every single person, and you might have already kind of dabbled in it, but what would be that one thing out of everything you said, this delusional, what would be that one thing you would leave us with today?
Um, well, Brock, I'm going to have like three things, but I'll attempt one thing, you know? Um, I want to like big picture. Okay. Let me get this before I start rambling too much. I want a big picture where we're at in the world right now, from my opinion. I love, like, I train a ton of content, social media stuff, and I love training on what works. Like, if David does something that works, I'm going to look at what he did and I'm going to say, hey, this is why it works. I don't like the fluff of prediction, but
Mhm.
we are at a point in time where I think perspective and prediction is a thing because the world's changing very quickly. Um, I think that in a world that I believe is going to look much different in the next 5 years. Like I think real estate will look different in the next 5 years, may look a lot different in the next 2 years. All of that can get very overwhelming. And when I talk to agents all the time, and maybe it's just because of where the people that I'm talking to, but everybody's asking me, hey, like, I don't know what's going on. I think this is going to happen in a year. I think MLSs aren't going to be around in 2 years and da 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 da. Like all
Yeah.
that stuff, super interesting. And I could spend a lot of time on it. Politics, same thing. I could spend a lot of time on it. You name it. Like there are so many distractions about what the heck is going to happen in the world. And for me, we got to focus much more on what we can do today. Because like I
Mhm.
said, the compound interest of doing the right thing and doing the work and all the pieces is going to play out over 5 years, no matter how the world is 5 years from now. And so a lot of times we let those big things that we have no control over take up far too much of our mental real estate, and we got to be focused on what can I do today? What can I do this week? And so big picture, actionable, hopefully that makes some sense. But the piece on the personal side, on like the motivational side and all that fun stuff, um, I mean it really comes down to, for me, gratitude for where I'm at today is
Mhm.
foundational to where I want to go tomorrow. Because I know like most people are going through something. Most people that I meet, like heck, I've got stuff I'm going through right now, right? Like we've all got stuff that we're
Mhm.
going through. Some of it is big, some of it is small, whatever. But I think we all have things in our lives for us to be grateful for. And I think
Mhm.
starting with that gratitude is the foundation to go get the more that you want in life. And so gratitude and then faith, because the world is changing and everything else. And I just always had this faith that if I went out, worked hard, did what I said I was going to do, kept moving in a direction, even if I hit a brick wall every once in a while, right? I just
Mhm.
had this optimistic faith that it was going to work out and that God's got my back, right? And that this will, and I will land somewhere, even if I don't know where that is. And so, gratitude and faith, and what can you do today? That's my one thing. My three things. That's my one thing.
Amen. Amen to that. Tim, I can't thank you enough. Guys, we're going to put all his stuff on here. If you got something, drop a 5 in the chat. Drop a 5 in the chat, all, because that's just, I mean, the faith part, the delusional part, like all these things are just the compound or just ingredients on what it takes in the process of the becoming the person that you are. So Tim, God bless you, man. Thank you so
Hey,
much for being
go.
on here.
I don't really have anything to sell, so go follow me on Instagram. that's,
Jay's
that's
gonna put all your stuff on the once we get these 5s through. Jay put his stuff. We put it a couple times. There
there
it
you
is
go.
right
Yeah,
there
yeah,
for you.
yeah,
So guys, go follow him. Go listen to him. Go see what he's got. Go reach out. I tell it all the time. Go to Instagram. Go
yeah.
DM people.
If you go
So
to if you go to my YouTube, you're gonna see all my funny family videos that we make. But Instagram's the place where I'm usually DMing and interacting the most. So yeah, get me there.
awesome, man. Tim, thank you so much for all of you. Thank you so much for being on here on this Figure It Out Friday. We'll be back Monday morning at 8:15 Eastern Time. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Be safe this weekend. See ya.
Thanks, everybody.